morning, Mr. Rashida. We are at the evening session. Today, we are 29th, 30th July, and we are here for 3 days summit. 28th International Human Rights Summit. Peace. Good morning, Mr. Rashid. You are Good morning, Mr. Rashid Khan. We are at the United Nations. Today, 30th July, 10 a.m. in the morning. Tell me something to everyone that you feel about summit.
One second. I just saw Maggie, so I'm going to be this. Okay.
Check 1, 2.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hi, we're going to be getting started shortly. Good morning. All right, well, I'd like everyone to go ahead and take their seats. We'll be getting started shortly. All of the youth delegates will be seated in this area, so unless you are a youth delegate, please find a seat either on this side of the room or in the gallery. We'll be looking forward to welcoming you shortly.
Video করুন. My name is MD Morsalin. It is my privilege to be here today. We are at 2020.
Almost there. Just one quote. Human rights.
All right, everyone, we'll be getting started. Please take your seats. Good morning. All right, are we all ready to get started this morning? Good. Well, excellencies, distinguished guests, ambassadors, and fellow youth, good morning, and welcome to the 20th International Human Rights Summit. What an extraordinary milestone to be a part of. 2 decades of bringing together youth, Nobel laureates, diplomats, and changemakers from every corner of the globe, all in one room, united by a single document, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This year carries even more weight because 2026 marks Youth for Human Rights International's 25th anniversary. 25 years of empowering young people to believe that they too can change the world. I happen to know that's true because I am one of them. My journey started as a 14-year-old high school student in Texas. Years later, I stand before you, somehow still a youth. As a US diplomat, a Human Rights Hero awardee, co-director of Youth for Human Rights USA, and now with one of my favorite titles yet, your MC for the 2026 International Human Rights Summit. Thank you. So quite a bit has happened along that journey. Would you like to hear it? All right. When I was 14, I learned that my hometown of Houston, Texas, one of the most diverse cities in America, was also one of the largest hubs for human trafficking. I was a high school freshman with no budget, but I did have an incredible mother who's here today, the Youth for Human Rights materials, and an overwhelming desire to leave the world better than I found it. So together, my mom and I built the Human Rights Walk and Festival. One path, one park, 30 stops, one for every article of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It grew into 50+ nonprofit partners, a proclamation from the mayor of Houston declaring Houston's Human Rights Day, and it became one of the largest events of its kind. We held it every year for a decade and are very proud to be a piece of a movement that has now reached millions. Because of that event, I was selected to represent the United States as a youth delegate at this very summit, which was then held in Brussels, Belgium. I was 15, and I can tell you exactly how that felt. I was seated in a room of extraordinary people doing extraordinary things, much like this one, desperate to get it right, and wondering if I really even belonged there at all. So what I remember most from that week, it wasn't the conference hall or even the speech that, as you can imagine, I'd practiced a million times. What I remember most from that week was a night walking through the streets with fellow delegates. Belgian waffles in hand, this was Brussels, as you might remember, sharing stories and taking way too many selfies. If I recall correctly, I was also teaching my new friends a Texas cheer that they probably didn't ask to learn. If you had passed us on the street, you'd have seen nothing more than young people enjoying a trip abroad. In truth, you'd have been looking at youth delegates from 30+ countries. They were doing the work in villages, in classrooms, in places where even saying the words human rights out loud carries a cost. Those were the people holding the waffles. That week lit a spark that changed my entire life. I was captivated by the kinds of people that you meet at the summit, people like each one of you, who know that there's a better world if only you're willing to work for it. So I've been coming back ever since. 13 summits and counting. Yes, you heard that right, 13 summits in nearly every capacity that the summit has to offer. As a delegate, as a volunteer, as the person responsible for the delegates, which is actually how I came to lead 85 young people through the streets of New York in Statue of Liberty hats, snapping like I once had far too many selfies. I even flew in from a diplomatic posting in Rome once because missing the summit really wasn't an option. And there's really one thing that I've never gotten tired of watching, and that is the magic of the summit. A youth delegate, like all of our wonderful ones lined up back here, arrives after days of travel. They've left their village sometimes for the first time, barely able to speak above a whisper. It's a feeling I know well. I was beyond nervous when I gave my own first speech. But days later, that same young person walks onto the stage and commands an entire room at the United Nations by sharing their story. So when I tell you that these next few days are worth your full attention, I'm not guessing. I'm telling you from experience. What I couldn't have known at the start of my own Youth for Human Rights journey was that this
Y este no solo fue una oportunidad, sino fue el inicio de una carrera. Estudié Derechos Humanos y Diplomacia y pude desarrollar nuevas relaciones en diferentes fronteras. Regresando a los últimos 15 años, solo toma un paso. No un gran gesto, no un plan perfecto, solo la disposición a comenzar. Antes de que empecemos de manera oficial, me gustaría decirles algo. Mi primer regalo es todo lo que hace derechos humanos es libre. Todo el plan de estudios, todo ya está traducido en diferentes idiomas, todo listo para usarse el momento en el que lo recibas. La gente en esta sala ya ha puesto este proceso para poder tener esta constitución, así que quédate calmado de que no va a haber ningún problema. Lo segundo es una solicitud. A la hora de la comida, encuentra a alguien con quien nunca hayas trabajado y pregúntale qué podemos hacer. Todos nuestros oradores vale todo tu tiempo y atención. Pero uno de lo más importante que está pasando en estos espacios,
I'd bet that somewhere in this very room today,
te apuesto a que alguien en esta sala ya va a tener su momento, el momento que desde adentro se ve pequeño, pero que cambia todo desde afuera. Así que, sin más que decir, en el legado de los 25 años de esta gran organización, es mi honor darle la bienvenida a Auntie Anderson, quien abrirá e inaugurará este congreso con estilo. Denle la bienvenida, por favor.
though the rainbow way up high, there's all that I've heard of once in lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue. Ooh, and the dreams, now we dare to dream, really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you find me. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where
drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you find me. Hey, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that we dare to dream really do come true. If happy little bluebirds fly among the rainbows, why, oh, why come
Let's give her another round of applause for that beautiful performance. It is an immense privilege of mine to introduce the founder of this movement, the reason that we are all in this room today, and the true creator of a brighter future, Dr. Mary Shuttleworth, President of United for Human Rights and Youth for Human Rights International.
Good morning, everyone. So this is my special privilege at the beginning of every single one of these summits, is to invite amazing delegates, just like Demi was so many years ago. And what I would like is, I would like Maestro, if you can start the music. And I have a very special little guest here today, and I want you to give her a very big welcome, Isabella. Isabella, please. And Isabella and I have a very big, important job, and that is to welcome our international delegates that have literally flown in from around the world to come and be here with us. So, Maestro, please.
Give me freedom, give me fire, give me reason, take me higher. See the champions, take the field now. Unify us, make us feel proud. In the streets, our heads are lifting as we lose our inhibition. Celebration, it surrounds us. Every nation, all around us, singing forever young. Singing songs underneath the sun. Let's rejoice in the beautiful game. And together at the end of the day, we all say, when I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. So wave your flag, now wave your flag, now wave your flag. Oh, oh, oh. give you fire, give you reason, take you higher. See the champion, take the field now. Unify us, make us feel proud. In the streets, our heads are lifting as we lose our inhibition. Celebration, it surrounds us. Every nation, all around us, singing forever young, singing songs underneath the sun. Let's rejoice in the beautiful game. And together at the end of the day, we all say, when I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. So wave your flag, now 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 wave your flag, wave your flag. Oh, oh, oh.
Oh, that's go, 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 go. Let's give him another welcome. Distinguished ambassadors, excellencies, honored guests, colleagues, dear friends, and of course, precious youth, joining us from around the world, here in person and online, welcome. Today is much more than an opening of an international summit. Today we celebrate 25 years of a shared commitment to one simple but powerful idea, that every person should know their human rights and understand that those same rights belong equally to everyone else. As I look around this room, I see many friends who have walked this journey with us for 10, 15, even 20 years, and some from the very, very beginning. You are university professors, teachers, law enforcement officers, government officials, community leaders, NGO representatives, and of course, volunteers. You have taken the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights beyond the pages of a document and into the classrooms, universities, police academies, community centers, radio, television, homes across the world. Because of you, Youth for Human Rights International has grown from a single idea to a truly global movement. Together, we have established groups and chapters on every continent, reaching millions of people who now understand not only their human rights, but also, I'm a teacher, their responsibilities to respect the rights and dignity of others. During these 25 years, I've had the privilege of traveling to more than 90 countries, circling the globe literally 20 times. Yes, I do mean around the world. Those journeys literally changed my life. While I remember the conferences, official meetings, but what I treasure most are the conversations over a shared meal visiting your communities and hearing the stories of why you chose to become part of this mission. Through your backgrounds, though your backgrounds are different, your stories all lead to the same belief that human rights education, I'm a teacher, is one of the most powerful ways to build a foundation for peace. Let me share one story. Some 20 years ago, while visiting Nepal, I met a quiet yet remarkable 13-year-old boy who was inspired by the message of human rights education. Demi, he was 1 year younger than you. Okay. Even at that young age, he accepted responsibility and began human rights education activities in his community. Today, that same young boy is the president of Youth for Human Rights Nepal. He leads international conferences, trains police officers, and has inspired thousands to become human rights educators. Raul Casey, are you here? Raul's story is nothing short of inspiring, but it is not unique. There are hundreds of stories like this. People often ask, so how did Youth for Human Rights International become such a global movement? The answer is simple. We did not get here because of one person with one dream. We got here because thousands of people made that dream their own, in their own ways. We got here because of you, because you organized the first workshop, because you trained teachers, because you translated materials to your local language, because you introduced human rights education into schools, universities, police academies, and communities. Because you inspired young people to become leaders. Every success we celebrate here belongs to you. You are the true heroes of the 25-year legacy. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you for your years of service. Thank you to those of you who traveled across cities, across oceans, and for some, more than a full day to be here with us. I believe there's a delegate who came, a medical doctor actually, who is a doctor who flew in from Pakistan. Where are you? Yes, give him a hand. It took him more than 24 hours to get here. Let's give him another round of applause. We are here to listen to you, to learn from you, and to share best practices. What did you learn? How did you do it? What did you overcome? Because that will strengthen this movement for generations to come. As we celebrate Education for Peace, a 25-year legacy, let us remember why this work matters. Around the world, far too many children are vulnerable to bullies, abuse, and even human trafficking. They grow up without knowing the rights that belongs to them, simply because they are human. Human rights education is one of the greatest forms of prevention. I'm a teacher. It empowers potential victims, reaches potential perpetrators before the prejudice and violence take root, and teaches every child that every human being is born with equal dignity and equal rights. If the past 25 years have taught us anything, it is this. Human rights education changes people. Changed people change communities. Changed communities change nations. And changed nations, well, can build a more peaceful world. Together, let's continue until every child everywhere knows their human rights, respects the human rights of others, and becomes a champion for peace. Thank you for everything you have done to make this movement possible for a quarter of a century. So let this summit be more than a conference. Let it be a meeting of generations, united by one person, one purpose, I'm sorry. But one person's fine too. And one person. Inspired by one vision. We look forward to hearing your dreams, your bold ideas, and your passion for creating a better world where human rights are lived. You are the generation that will transform today's challenges into tomorrow's victories. We are honored to stand beside you on your journey. Welcome to the 2026 International Human Rights Summit. Thank you.
Wow, I mean, what an honor for us to have the true founder of this movement, 25 years and counting. Let's give her another round of applause for her incredible work. All right, without further ado, it is my absolute honor to welcome the co-sponsor of this very summit, His Excellency, Ambassador Dionisio de Costa Babo Suarez, Permanent Representative of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste to the United Nations.
Thank you very much. Madam Mary Shuttleworth, President of Youth and Human Rights International, Excellencies, Ambassadors, distinguished delegates, youth leaders, educators, human rights advocates, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Permanent Mission of Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste to the United Nations, it is a privilege to welcome you to the 2026 International Human Rights Summit. We are honored once again to co-sponsor this important gathering, which brings together young leaders, diplomats, educators, and human rights advocates from more than 70 countries. Your presence reflects a shared conviction that the promotion of human rights is a collective responsibility, and that young people are indispensable partners in building a more peaceful, just, and inclusive world. At the outset, allow me to pay special tribute to Madame Mary Shuttleworth. Let's give applause, please. For 25 years, her unwavering support and dedication and leadership have transformed Youth for Human Rights International into a truly global movement. Through education, dialogue, and youth empowerment, she has demonstrated that lasting peace is not built solely through institutions or treaties, but through informed citizens who understand both their rights and their responsibilities. Her work has empowered thousands of young people to become advocates for human dignity and has reinforced a simple but profound truth. Human rights must first be learned before they can be defended. It is therefore fitting that this year's theme is Education for Peace, a 25-year legacy. Education is not merely one human right among many. It is the enabling right that makes the enjoyment of all other rights possible. Without enabling right that makes the enjoyment of all other rights possible, without education, freedom of expression cannot be fully exercised. Democratic participation is weakened, equally remain elusive, and justice becomes inaccessible. Education equips individuals with knowledge, critical thinking, ethical values, and respect for diversity. It enables people not only to improve their own lives, but also to contribute responsibly to their communities and to society as a whole. This understanding is firmly established in international law. Article 26 of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights recognizes that everyone has the right to education. This commitment has also been reinforced through the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 66/137 on human rights education and training, and most recently by UNESCO 2024 recommendation, which recognizes education as a transformative force for peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable societies. However, the responsibility to realize this right extends far beyond government alone. Education begins in every household, as Mary has actually always said in the past, where children first learn respect, empathy, honesty, and responsibility. It is strengthened in every village and community, where schools cultivate inclusion, dialogue, and civic responsibility. Every nation must support it through sustained investments in teachers, quality learning, equal opportunities, and safe educational environments. Education is therefore not only a public service, it is a shared social contract between families, communities, governments, and the international community, including people like all of us here in this room. Few have expressed this more eloquently than Nelson Mandela, who reminded us that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This is not simply an inspiring statement. It is an evidence-based observation drawn from history. Every major advance in human development has been accompanied by expanded access to education. Knowledge has consistently proven more enduring than force, and classrooms have often achieved what battlefields could not. Our national leader, His Excellency Kairala Shanana Guzman, has long affirmed that the greatest wealth of a nation lies not beneath its soil, but within the minds, values, and capabilities of its people. His vision reminds us that political independence can only be sustained through education or educated citizens who are prepared to safeguard democracy, uphold human rights, and contribute to national development. Today, Timor-Leste continues to invest in human rights education, youth leadership, and civic participation because we recognize that educating young people is ultimately an investment in peace itself. Our young people who once stood courageously in defense of our nation's freedom now lead efforts to strengthen democracy, promote inclusion, protect human rights, and build sustainable development. As we celebrate this 25-year legacy, let us reaffirm a simple but enduring principle: that education is not only a privilege reserved for some, it is a universal human rights owed to every child, every family, every community, and every nation. By protecting that right, we empower individuals, strengthen societies, and lay the strongest possible foundation for peace. That is our shared responsibility, and that is the legacy we must pass on to our future generation. I wish you a fruitful discussion during these 2 or 3 days of your meeting, and let us actually once again give our applause to this remarkable woman, Madame Mary Shuttleworth.
Thank you, Ambassador, for your many years of continued partnership. Next, I'd like to welcome from Antigua and Barbuda, another co-sponsoring permanent mission, Mr. Walton Webson. All right, and next up, we will have from the permanent mission of the Bahamas, Another great co-sponsor, please give them a round of applause. Our next co-sponsor who is with us in spirit today is the Permanent Mission of Denmark, so many thanks to them. And speaking next, we have from the Permanent Mission of Moldova, it is Miss Daniela Shevchuk.
Distinguished delegates, excellencies, dear young leaders, I would like to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation for Youth for Human Rights and United for Human Rights International, as well as the permanent representation of Timor-Leste to the United Nations for organizing this important summit. By promoting human rights education grounded in the principles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, your initiative empowers young generation to become informed citizens, responsible leaders, and advocates for peace, dignity, and justice. This commitment is also shared by the Republic of Moldova and is reflected in the Republic of Moldova's candidature for the UN Human Rights Council for the 2027-2029 term. In our voluntary pledges and commitments, Moldova reaffirms its determination to promote and protect all human rights, strengthen democratic institutions, and foster an inclusive society in which young people and civil society are recognized as crucial partners. Our national commitments include meaningful opportunities for youth participation in public life, supporting the active engagement of civil society in decision-making processes, and ensuring that the voices of young people contribute to the development of policies that advance human rights, democracy, and the sustainable development. These commitments demonstrate our conviction that effective human rights governance can only be achieved through dialogue, participation, and strong partnerships between public institutions, civil society, and younger generations. Distinguished delegates, today I would like to share a simple yet powerful message. Young people are not only the future, they are an essential force of shaping our present. Investing in young people is therefore not merely a policy choice. It is an investment in stronger, more resilient societies and more powerful tomorrow. In the Republic of Moldova, youth policy is guided by principles that reflect our shared European values: participation, equality, inclusion, access to information, cooperation, solidarity, and shared responsibility. These principles create the foundation for enabling young people to participate actively in civic life and contribute meaningfully to decision-making processes, both at the local but also at the national levels. Our national legislation recognizes that meaningful youth participation is fundamental to democratic governance. Public authorities are encouraged to consult young people and youth organizations on policies and decisions that directly affect their lives. This reflects a simple but essential principle that public policies are more effective, more inclusive, and more sustainable when they are developed together with those that they are intended to serve. An important step in advancing this vision is the project Youth for Democracy and Human Rights in the Republic of Moldova, which is implemented by the Council of Europe within the framework of the Action Plan for the 2025-2028 years. The multi-year initiative represents an important investment in strengthening democratic participation, promoting human rights education, and supporting meaningful youth engagement across the country. This project seeks to empower young people to become active participants in democratic life while strengthening the capacities of youth workers, youth leaders, Roma youth participation, civil society organizations, and public institutions. It also reflects a shared commitment to ensuring that the perspectives of young people are integrated into public policies, particularly as the Republic of Moldova continues its European integration process. At the same time, the initiative acknowledges the complex challenges facing today's young generation, including migration, demographic change, social inequalities, and unequal access to education and opportunities. Responding to these challenges requires sustained cooperation, open dialogue, inclusive policies, and long-term investment in young people potential. Through training programs, study visits, exchange of experiences, and dialogue platforms, young people are equipped with knowledge, skills, and confidence needed to become active citizens and community leaders. Youth centers also play a vital role as safe and inclusive spaces for non-informal education, civic engagement, intercultural dialogue, and active participation. They provide young people with opportunities to learn, collaborate, innovate, and contribute to their communities. We are also proud of our National Youth Council of the Republic of Moldova, which unites 46 youth structures promoting the rights of young people and representing the interests of the youth organizations in the process of developing, implementing, and evaluating youth policies. So far, they reached 2,000 events organized, 1,500 trainings organized for youth in districts, 250 implemented projects, and 240 useful resources elaborated. Dear young leaders, at the heart of all these efforts lies human rights education. By promoting respect for human dignity, equality, diversity, inclusion, and the rule of law, we enable young people not only to understand and exercise their own rights, but also to respect, protect, and defend the rights of others. Young people are important partners in strengthening active participation, mutual trust, and inclusive institutions. Your creativity, energy, and commitment are essential for fostering innovation, encouraging dialogue, countering polarization, and building more cohesive and peaceful communities. For the Republic of Moldova, this journey is inseparable from our European aspirations and our unwavering commitment to democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. To all the young people here, I leave you with one final message. Never believe that you are too young to make a difference. It's not true. Every positive change in history began with someone who chose to act. Your voice matters, your ideas matters, your participation here matters. Together, you have the power to build a more democratic, inclusive, and peaceful world. I thank you for your attention and good luck within these days. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, and next up we have from the Permanent Mission of St. Kitts. It's Her Excellency Ambassador Mutrice Williams. Welcome, Ambassador.
Excellencies, Dr. Mary Shuttleworth, founder, distinguished organizers, honored guests, educators, and most importantly, the young leaders who are gathered here from around the world. Good day. It is a great honor to represent the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis at the 20th International Human Rights Summit as we celebrate the remarkable 25-year legacy of promoting human rights, education, and building a culture of peace. Allow me to commend United for Human Rights, Youth for Human Rights International, the Permanent Mission of Timor-Leste to the United Nations, and partner organizations for creating a space where young people are not simply invited to participate, but are empowered to lead. Together, we gather around a simple yet powerful truth. Education is one of the greatest instruments for peace. Peace is not merely the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. It is respect for one another. It is the willingness to listen before judging, to understand before dividing, and to recognize the inherent dignity that belongs in every human being. These are values first taught through education. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights reminds us that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Yet these words only become a reality when each new generation understands them, believes in them, and chooses to live by them. That responsibility now belongs to you. As young people, you are inheriting a world filled with extraordinary opportunity, but also significant challenges. Around the globe, communities faced inequality, discrimination, mythology connected us, unprecedented ways, yet many people still feel isolated from one another. These challenges can seem overwhelming. But history has repeatedly shown that meaningful change often begins with young people who refuse to accept that things must remain the same. St. Kitts and Nevis knows something about resilience. As one of the world's smallest sovereign nations, we learned that influence is not measured by the geography or by population. It is measured by values, partnerships, and the determination of our people. Small states understand that every voice matters because every voice strengthens the conversation. The same is true for each of you. Never, never underestimate the impact of your voice. A conversation that promotes understanding, a classroom project that challenges prejudice, a volunteer effort that serves your community, a social media post that spreads truth instead of hate. Acts of leadership do not always begin on grand stages. They often begin with everyday choices rooted in empathy, respect, and courage. Education gives us knowledge. Human rights education gives us purpose. Together, they give us tools to build peaceful societies. The theme to this year's summit, Education for Peace. A 25-year legacy reminds us that peace is not inherited, it is learned, it is practiced, it is protected and renewed with every single generation. This is why investing in young people is one of the greatest investments any nation can make. When young people understand human rights, they become stronger advocates for inclusion. They become innovators who solve problems with compassion. They become leaders who unite rather than divide. And they become global citizens who recognize that our shared humanity is greater than our differences. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we believe that education should empower every young person to reach their fullest potential while embracing mutual respect, diversity, civic responsibility, and sustainable development. These principles are strengthened not only within our communities, but it's also our shared values and it's also our culture. As we commemorate this milestone anniversary, let us also look ahead. Imagine a generation where every child not only is taught mathematics or science, but also taught empathy, where classrooms teach dialogue alongside debate, where diversity is celebrated not as a weakness, but it's celebrated as a strength, where peace is understood not as an ideal, but as a daily practice. This future is possible, but it depends on each one of us. To the young people who are gathered here today, and to the young people who are gathered here today, you are not simply the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. Your ideas matter. Your voices matter. Your actions matter. Every act of kindness, every effort to promote inclusion, every stand against injustice contributes to a more peaceful world. As you return to your schools, your universities, communities, and to your respective countries, I encourage you to carry forward the spirit of this summit. Build bridges where others build barriers. Choose dialogue over division. Choose understanding over fear. Choose hope over indifference. And never stop learning, because education remains one of humanity's greatest pathways to peace. Let us continue working together as nations, as communities, as educators, and young people to ensure that the next 25 years leave an even greater legacy, a world where every person is respected, every right is protected, and every child has the opportunity to live in peace. May your journey continue to inspire others, and may peace always begin with the choices we make every single day. Thank you. And I must acknowledge you, Queen Mother, for all of your work. Here's Queen Mother. And again, Dr. Shuttleworth, thank you. Ambassador Dionyso, thank you for your investment in youth, my colleague. Have a great conference. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. And thank you.
Guys, I don't know about you. I'm going to have to make some of those sound bites my ringtone. That was a pretty inspirational, incredible speech. So let's give Madam Ambassador another round of applause. Amazing. Great. Well, I think that sets a precedent for some of the amazing leaders that we have with us in the room today. So I really want to make sure everyone, is aware of the honor that it is to be at this summit today. I really encourage you, be an active listener, take notes. Definitely, it's a good time to save your phone calls and any WhatsApp messages for the lunch break. So thank you again for that wonderful speech. I have a few extra housekeeping notes in case you need translations. Channel 4, Español in Canal 4, okay, and Channel 1 for English, all right? Perfect. So next up, we have from the Permanent Mission of Mexico, we have their human rights expert. It's my honor to welcome Mr. Roberto Peña Cid. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hello, thank you. Excellencies, distinguished participants, youth leaders, friends. Before I start, I want to thank for the powerful messages we have already heard today from, of course, the president of this organization, Madam Mary Shuttleworth, Ambassador Dionisio, from Permanent Representative of Timor-Leste, thank you very much. Also the representatives of Moldova, St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course from Demi, also an amazing story. Thank you for sharing. Mexico is pleased to participate in this year's International Human Rights Summit and welcomes this space for dialogue, cooperation, and the exchange of experiences to advance human rights. I would also like to congratulate the organizers on the 20th anniversary of this important initiative and all those who have contributed over the past 2 decades to making it such a valuable platform for human rights education. As it has already been said, this year's theme, Education for Peace, underscores the profound relationship between education and peace. This relationship goes beyond a simple connection. They are mutually reinforcing. Education is both the foundation of peaceful societies and one of the most powerful means through which peace can be sustained and strengthened. This idea is eloquently captured in the preamble of the Constitution of UNESCO, which states, "Since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed." Thank you. Mexico fully shares this vision. We recognize the importance of international frameworks such as the 2023 UNESCO Recommendation on Education for Peace, Human Rights, and Sustainable Development, as well as the United Nations Declaration on Human Rights Education and Training, adopted by consensus by the General Assembly in 2011. Mexico was proud to co-sponsor that declaration, reaffirming our long-standing commitment to human rights education as a transformative tool to prevent violence, combat discrimination, foster mutual understanding, and build more just, resilient, and inclusive societies. Mexico also recognizes the central role of young people as agents of change. Youth should not be regarded merely as beneficiaries of public policies, but as essential actors in shaping solutions to the challenges our societies face. Their meaningful participation in decision-making processes strengthens democracy, encourages innovation, and contributes to the consolidation of a culture of peace. Before I conclude, allow me to share a personal reflection. Throughout my career as a diplomat, two young women have inspired me by reminding us that courage and conviction can change the course of history. I am referring to Malala Yousafzai of Pakistan and Greta Thunberg of Sweden. Although their advocacy began in different fields, education and climate action, their work ultimately speaks to the same universal values: the dignity of every human being, the defense of human rights, and the pursuit of a more just and peaceful world. Their example reminds us that age is never a barrier to leadership, and that the voices of young people can transform societies. That is precisely why human rights education must promote critical thinking, respect for diversity, gender equality, intercultural understanding, and recognition of the inherent dignity of every person. Education has the power not only to transform individuals, but also to transform societies. To the young leaders gathered here today, Mexico reaffirms that your voices, your ideas, and your actions are indispensable to building a more inclusive, peaceful, and just future for all. Thank you very much.
Okay, and it's my honor to introduce up next. We'd like to acknowledge from the Permanent Mission of Namibia, Ambassador Pinata Nada. Let's give him a round of applause for acknowledgement. Okay, great. Here he comes.
Good morning. Director of our proceedings this morning. The Republic of Namibia is honored to participate in the International Human Rights Summit 2026, reaffirming its unwavering commitment to the promotion, protection, and advancement of human rights through education, youth empowerment, and inclusive development. Namibia's constitutional democracy is founded upon the principles of human dignity, equality, freedom, justice, and the rule of law. Chapter 3 of the Constitution guarantees fundamental human rights and freedoms to every person, while Article 10 reaffirms equality before the law and prohibits discrimination. Article 20 recognizes education as a fundamental human right, guaranteeing access to education and requiring the state to provide free primary education while progressively expanding educational opportunities for all. These constitutional guarantees continue to shape Namibia's national development agenda and its commitment to building a peaceful, democratic, and inclusive society. The 2026 summit theme, Education for Peace, a 25-year legacy, speaks directly to Namibia's national experience, and it is reinforced through the 6th National Development Plan, NDP 6, whose vision of fostering economic growth, inclusiveness, and resilience for sustainable development recognizes human capital development as a cornerstone for national prosperity. For Namibia, education is far more than a social service. It is a constitutional obligation, a human right, and one of the most powerful instruments for peace building. Education equips citizens with the knowledge, values, and critical thinking necessary to reject discrimination, uphold democratic principles, resolve conflicts peacefully, and safeguard the dignity and rights of others. It creates societies where diversity is embraced, dialogue is encouraged, and inclusion becomes the foundation of national unity. This approach equally advances the aspirations of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, particularly Sustainable Development Goal 4, which calls for inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong learning opportunities for all, and Sustainable Development Goal 16, which seeks peaceful, just, and inclusive societies with strong institutions. By embedding constitutional values within national policy and development planning, Namibia demonstrates that education is both a human right and a strategic investment in peace, justice, and sustainable development. Director of our proceedings, Your Excellencies, youth in the room, as the international community commemorates 25 years of education for peace, Namibia celebrates the progress made while recognizing that much work remains to ensure equitable education opportunities for every child and every young person. The Republic of Namibia therefore calls upon the governments, development partners, educational institutions, civil society, and youth leaders to strengthen international cooperation in advancing human rights education, promoting youth leadership, and expanding equitable access to quality education. Together, we can build societies where education nurtures responsible citizenship, protects human dignity, prevents conflict, and inspires a new generation of global leaders committed to peace. Education remains humanity's greatest investment in peace. Empowered youth remain its strongest ambassadors, guided by our Constitution and inspired by our collective international commitments. Namibia proudly joins the global community in advancing a future where every learner becomes a champion of human rights, every classroom becomes a space for peace, and every young person has the opportunity to lead with dignity, justice, and hope. In conclusion, Director of our deliberations today, let us be reminded that empowering youth is key to advancing human rights. The Pact for the Future emphasizes the importance of youth engagement in shaping policies that impact their lives through decision-making, education, social inclusion to advance human rights. By investing in education, civic participation, and social inclusion, we can ensure the next generation is equipped to uphold human rights and drive positive change. By empowering youth, we can drive progress on SDGs and create a more equitable world. The United Nations Youth 2030 Strategy and the Global Youth Forum highlight the importance of youth participation in realizing these goals. Let us work together to create a future where every young person can thrive and contribute to a more just and equitable world. I thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Well, you can imagine that in 25 years, Youth for Human Rights has built up quite a few partners, many of which we have in the audience, and it's a real pleasure for me to now get to introduce some congratulatory messages from a few of them. So for now, I'd like to invite Director Carla Guadalupe Camacho Garcilia, presenting for the National Sports Commission, CONADE. So we'll welcome her up, and she will be giving her speech in Spanish. So make sure you put on your ear shell and you'll turn to channel 4 for Spanish and channel 1 for English. All right, let's welcome her up.
Good morning, everyone. With your permit, Ms. Mary. En representación del maestro Rommel.
Good morning, everyone, and in representation of Mr. Pacheco, the director of our Sports National Association, and on behalf of this honorable UN venue, we are thankful to Youth for Human Rights International for your 25th anniversary, but also for your achievement in pro-positivism of the youth across the world. It is from this government department where the sports program addressed to children and the youth are pivotal to guarantee access to health and sports, with activities that deem from preventing violence all the way through specialization on peacemaking, shaping leaders across different sports that stand for our country with a major professional profile and that are extremely successful. These particular actions could not be possible without important alliances like yourselves. We need to strengthen our own cooperation so that we can empower our own population and yours. May the proposals and the engagement we do together keep thriving so that we can have physical activity as a sporting right for transformation and peacemaker through a cultural endeavor in sports. Today's efforts will be the success of tomorrow. Let's build great results together. Congratulations again on all of your work. Thank you.
Excellent. Next up, we have Gokulnath Matizatgun presenting for the Diwan to the Prince of Arcot, Nauzaba Asif Ali. Please welcome Gokulnath.
Thank you, Dima. Respected President, Excellencies, delegates, and speakers. I'm proud to share the message from Diwan to Prince of Arcot from India. My heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Mary on the remarkable occasion of completing 25 years of dedicated service with Youth for Human Rights International. Through her leadership, Youth for Human Rights International has empowered generations of young people with knowledge of the education is the foundation of justice, tolerance, and lasting peace. Your work has transcended borders, cultures, and communities, leaving behind a legacy that will continue to influence the future generation. As you celebrate this significant milestone, I offer my deepest appreciation for your valuable contribution and wish you a continued strength, good health, and every success in your future endeavors. Please accept my warmest congratulations and sincere best wishes for the momentum continues. Thank you, President, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
It's an honor now to welcome Dr. Ash Pachauri, co-founder of the Protect Our Planet movement, advancing the legacy of Dr. R.K. Pachauri, former chairman of the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize co-laureate. So let's welcome to the stage Dr. Ash Pachauri.
Good morning. Good morning, my family. I stand before you today with folded hands and a plea that you make a choice, a meaningful choice. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, one choice can change a life. One life can change a community. One community can change a nation. and one generation can change the world. It is my profound honor and deeply grateful to be here today with you as we celebrate 25 years of Youth for Human Rights International. Dr. Mary Shuttleworth, thank you for your relentless pursuit of human dignity and education for human rights for a quarter of a century and more. For teaching us that every child that is born with human dignity. Today, my dearest family, we're at a critical juncture historically. As we face global conflict to the extent that we challenge what we have faced since World War II. We face 117 million people displaced as a consequence of conflict, persecution, violence. And this number will continue to rise on account of climate change to 1.2 billion by the year 2050. And at the same time, the World Health Organization tells us that 75% of infectious diseases today are zoonotic, which means that they jump from animal to human, not for any other reason than the fact that we, through human activity, are destroying natural habitat of animals, where animals have lived in harmony with ecosystems historically, but now with closer proximity, we are at greater risk of such disease. I would like to bring to the fore that planetary health, public health, human rights, peace, these are not separate conversations. They are one. And I take the privilege of seeking your permission to share a story of someone I call Amina. Amina reflects the lived experience of numerous women and girls around the world today. Amina was faced with an epidemic in her village that was already fraught with ecosystem degradation, with conflict, with hunger. And she, within a few weeks, lost her parents. I just want to remind us, most of us in this room have lived through the COVID pandemic. The pandemic was not just about disease. It was about hunger. It was about hopelessness. It was about joblessness, about trauma. Similarly, Amina and her neighbors faced similar problems. Being the oldest of the siblings, she had to venture out to get her younger siblings food and water. So she would set out at 3 o'clock in the morning. On the first day that she set out, she was sexually assaulted. This happened to her day after day after day. And in a matter of weeks, she was found to be living with HIV. Under normal circumstances, everybody here would say, yeah, we understand Amina would give up. But guess what? Do we know what Amina did? Amina said, hey, what can I do to make sure others don't face these circumstances? So she got up and she mobilized her community, and she mobilized other women and girls. She got together and set up a federation. She became the president of this federation. They started to educate children. They set up community gardens. They set up community kitchens. Very soon, the government joined them. The media started to amplify their stories. Where they were typically pushed to the peripheries of society, suddenly they were upfront and center in making decisions that impacted their own community. What did Amina choose? She chose education. She chose climate resilience. She chose to educate herself about human rights and public health. She chose to help her community not just survive, but thrive. 10 years ago, my family, with my father's, just to ask, I had 10 minutes, I thought? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. 10 years ago, with my father's vision, he won the Nobel Peace Prize together with the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. He set up, together with myself and the rest of our global family, something called the POP movement, where POP stands for Protect Our Planet. The idea being that we mobilize the 1.8 billion youth of the world to take knowledge-inspired action to protect our planet. Today, our global family is 3.1 million large. We're working in 129 countries with over 500 partners. And young people are leading projects just like Amina, which are making a difference to their communities on the ground. Yet, my family, I don't want you to think of the POP movement in metrics such as this. I want you to think of the POP movement and its story like Amina's. Because Amina's story creates ripples that go way beyond Amina's generation. I'd also like you to think about Yemen. Yemen contributes a fraction of carbon emissions compared to many countries around the world that are contributing huge amounts of carbon emissions. And yet, Yemen is on the forefront of conflict, of hunger, of trauma, of water scarcity, and displacement. So climate justice is not just an environmental issue. Climate justice is a human rights issue. Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon with which we can change the world. I ask you today to think one step further. Education is humanity's greatest investment in peace. Peace cannot flourish where people are hungry. Peace cannot flourish where women and girls live in fear. Peace cannot flourish where we do not respect human dignity, where people live in trauma, where young people are left hopeless. So today, I ask you to leave with only one thing. If you take away one thing from today, it is to remember Amina, not for what she went through, but for what she chose. History rarely changes because of extraordinary people. History changes, my friends, because ordinary people do extraordinary things. Today, I ask you to have the audacity to choose. Choose empowerment. Have the audacity to choose education. The audacity to believe that one choice can change a life. One life can change a community. And one community can change the world. Like Dr. Mary Shuttleworth has fought for many years to tell us, human rights are not about declarations. Human rights are protected by educated minds, by courageous hands and compassionate hearts. Because peace is not inherited, peace is educated. So today, my beautiful family, with folded hands, I plead for you to make a choice. Thank you.
Wow, I think we can all learn a lot from Dr. Pachauri and him elevating that story to such a global scale. Let's give him another round of applause. It's now my absolute honor to announce many of the voices that you've been waiting so patiently for. We have our esteemed youth delegates ready to take the stage. And first up, it's my pleasure to welcome from Timor-Leste.
Honorable Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, excellencies, and esteemed guests. My name is Denise Latica Baba Suarez. It is a privilege to represent my country, Timor-Leste, at this forum. Growing up as a young woman in Timor-Leste has taught me that human rights are not merely principles written in laws, but they shape the opportunities we have, the choices we make, and the future we build. I've seen encouraging progress as more girls are supported to attend school, pursue higher career, and aspire to leadership. However, I have also witnessed that many women and girls still face discrimination, violence, and unequal opportunities. These realities remind us that achieving equality requires more than legislation. It requires commitment, education, and collective action. How can we speak of peace, justice, and sustainable development while millions of girls and women continue to live with fear, discrimination, and inequality? Gender equality is not simply a women's issue. It is a human rights imperative and a prerequisite for sustainable development. When women and girls are empowered, families are stronger, communities are more resilient, and nations are better equipped to prosper. Since restoring its independence in 2002, Timor-Leste has placed gender equality at the heart of nation building. Our constitution guarantees equality before the law and prohibits discrimination based on sex. We have ratified the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which is SEDA, enacted the law against domestic violence, and established the Secretary of State for Equality to advance women's rights. Recognizing the laws alone are not enough, Timor-Leste adopted the National Action Plan on Gender-Based Violence from 2022 to 2032 to strengthen prevention, protection, and survivor support. Through the Rede Referral, survivors receive coordinated access to healthcare, legal assistance, psychosocial services, and protection. The Mobisa Declaration further reminds us that eliminating violence against women is a shared responsibility involving governments, communities, traditional and religious leaders, civil society, and men and young people alike. While significant progress has been made, important challenges remain, particularly in rural communities where access to specialized services and trained professionals is still limited. Continued investment in protection services, education, and institutional capacity is essential to ensure that every woman and girl can fully enjoy her rights. As a young woman, I believe education is the foundation of true empowerment. Education gives girls more than knowledge. It gives them confidence, critical thinking, and the freedom to make informed decisions about their own lives. It enables them to become leaders in their communities, to contribute to their countries, and to help shape a more just and inclusive society. When we educate a young woman, we are not only transforming one life, we are strengthening families, communities, and future generations. Therefore, I believe we should continue investing in girls' education, protecting the rights of women, and creating a world where every young woman has the opportunity to decide their own future and contribute to the future of others. Thank you.
What a treat to get to hear from our wonderful youth delegates. Next up, we have from Mexico. Please welcome her to the stage.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, delegates, and honored guests. I'm 18 years old and I'm Sarah. I have already seen what happens when a child learns they have rights. 2 years ago, I attended Youth for Human Rights Summit in New York as a guest. I went home in Querétaro, Mexico, very inspired, and I went to work. I brought human rights education to shelters for children and teenagers who had survived violence, teaching through games, so learning about dignity felt like joy instead of a lecture. Children who had been taken from their homes learned, many for the first time, that what happened to them was not their fault, and their rights belonged to them. With Youth for Human Rights Mexico, I helped produce bilingual educational videos designed for people with hearing and visual disabilities, because a right you cannot access is a right you cannot use. I organize activities at the Race for Human Rights and Peace, and through Model United Nations, I carry this work into schools. Here's what I've learned. Many young people cannot recognize when their rights are violated because no one ever taught them what those rights are. Understanding must come first, everything else follows. My goal is simple, that every young person learns respecting rights is not an option, it's a responsibility. And young people understanding their rights, they become leaders who build peace, inspire others, and create lasting change. I am one of them. Thank you.
Okay, and our next speaker will also be giving her address in Spanish. So please make sure to put your shell on.
Buenos días, distinguidos.
Good morning, dear guests, Your Excellencies, and partners. My name is Yvonne Morena Macias. I'm a volunteer for Youth for Human Rights in Ecuador. I lead sessions and training session on teaching the Declaration of Human Rights for children, for youth, and adults. For those who have never been taught that their dignity has been already protected by law. I have seen develop social consciousness, and they become advocates for respect and solidarity with their families, their schools, and their communities. Which is why training on human rights is so important. Whenever a young man will understand their rights and acts responsibly, they become a transformative agent capable to inspire change in others, to face intolerance, and to have a more respectful future. We teach peaceful opportunity to engage and social responsibilities because communities are built one individual at a time, one lesson at a time. And I came to this summit to learn, but to also take whatever I learned back to Ecuador. Thank you.
And next up, our youth delegate from France.
Good morning, distinguished guests, ambassadors, and fellow advocates. Proud of is our work with girls and women in Afghanistan, combining mental health support with digital skills education. In their own words, these initiatives have been life-changing, giving them a voice policymakers, community leaders, and advocates. Look beyond your own neighborhoods, your own states, your own to understand lives very different from your own. One, to stand beside them, to know that they are seen, they are heard, and they are not alone.
Guests and fellow delegates. My name is Mariama Dabo, and I represent the Gambia. No, Zambia. 9 years ago, I education, I had the audacity to have a master's degree. And thank you. Thank you. And it wasn't enough to get one master's. I said I was going to get and I am proud to see that in this room. And at a very early age, I recognized what it means when a woman's body, her choices, and her future are shaped by forces And for 6 years through Starfish International in the Gambia, students are survivors of rape, I'm sorry. They are survivors of FGMC. They are so children who needed electricity at their homes. I sat with them. I watched education change their lives because it had already that child is now back to school and finishing her high school education. Thank you. Now, that is what this work does. That is what human rights education is.
She is the, that's right. If you know her, you love her. She's the esteemed National Affairs, I will give you that again. She is the esteemed Executive Director of the National Affairs Office of the Church of Scientology International. And now you've all got a chance to love her. So let's welcome to the stage Miss Beth Akiyama.
Well, hello, everyone. Yes, on this incredible occasion of the 25th anniversary of Youth for Human Rights. So I want to welcome you all and thank you all for being here today. I want to acknowledge first the ambassadors, diplomats, and dignitaries here, and our Nobel Prize laureate, youth delegates, educators, and all of the human rights advocates that will be with us at this summit this year. This is our 20th, many familiar faces and many new faces. I want to thank you for your participation and support as we celebrate this 25th anniversary. It's my honor to be with you all here with such a distinguished group of people, individuals who work to create a real difference in their communities. In January 1969, the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, said, "We must make human rights a fact, not an idealistic dream." Just a few months later, he elaborated more, writing in the Church's Freedom News Journal that the United Nations came up with the answer. That answer was the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But he added that few governments had implemented any part of it. And he included in that publication a full copy of the Universal Declaration printed in the centerfold of that newspaper. Basically, our first launch of our campaign. To date, millions of copies of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights have been printed and circulated around the globe under the Youth for Human Rights International and United for Human Rights campaigns, all made possible by the support, organization, and hard work of the Church of Scientology and Scientologists, along with many dedicated partners. But there is still much work to be done. The preamble of the Declaration proclaims it is a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nations to the end that every individual and every organ of society, keeping this declaration constantly in mind, shall strive by teaching and education to promote respect for these rights and freedoms. It gives a call to action to secure their universal and effective recognition and observance. So it is an important part of the Scientology religion that we do something to improve the conditions of the world. Mr. Hubbard said, change no man's religion, change no man's politics, interrupt the sovereignty of no nation. Instead, teach man to use what he has and what he knows to the factual creation within any political reference of a civilization on earth for the first time. And so we work. Thank you for your attention and have a wonderful summit.
Okay, we now have a special media presentation. I believe many of you have seen these videos. They're some of my favorites, but this is Youth for Human Rights specialty, our public service announcements, and this is human right number 1. All are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Okay, it wouldn't be a UN summit if there wasn't a tiny little technical difficulty, so give us a moment while we pull that up. But I would just like to have everyone, you can use this time. I really love that introduction from our delegate from the Gambia. Turn to the person next to you and you can give them a little explainer. What are you working on at home? Is there something that you could use help with? All right, that was the best short introduction of all time. You ready for the video? All right, everyone, here we go. We've got the video.
Free. Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number 1. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
To use. I know I use that all of the time in my own human rights work. Can everyone still hear me? Yeah? No. Oh, I was a cheerleader. I can be louder. All right, so next up, we've got, it is honestly my absolute pleasure to introduce Emma Ashton Sims, the Executive Director of United for Human Rights and Youth for Human Rights International. Please give her an incredibly warm round of applause.
Thank you very much. This is a microphone not made for people of my stature. So here we go. All right, I think that's fine. Can you see me? Great, and can you hear me? Awesome. Thank you very much for being here. Give yourselves a great big of hand. Awesome. Well, Ambassador Suarez, distinguished representatives, co-sponsors, colleagues, and above all, our youth delegates from around the world, good morning. Dr. Shuttleworth opened this summit with the purpose that has guided Youth for Human Rights International for 25 years. Ambassador Suarez and the diplomatic representatives here today have welcomed a truly international gathering. We have also just heard from Beth Akiyama from the Church of Scientology International, whose support has helped make our educational materials available free of charge. Thank you. United for Human Rights is an international nonprofit dedicated to implementing the Universal Declaration of Human Rights at the local, regional, national, and international levels. Youth for Human Rights International was founded to teach those same rights to young people and inspire them to become advocates for tolerance and peace. Our starting point is very practical. People cannot defend rights they do not know. The Universal Declaration contains 30 articles defining fundamental rights and freedoms. Yet ask a student or many adults to name those rights, and most can only name a few, if that. They may know the phrase human rights, but not know that the Declaration includes freedom from slavery and torture, equal protection under the law, freedom of thought and expression, the right to education, the right to take part in government, and the responsibility to respect the rights of others. That is why we turn to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and we make that declaration into tools people can actually use. Simple booklets, 30 short public service announcements, the Story of Human Rights film, lesson plans for educators, and a free online course. A young person can watch one right explained in less than 30 seconds, take a ready-to-use lesson into class, and a community leader can hold a workshop. An official can make a human rights education part of their policy and training. Together, United for Human Rights and Youth for Human Rights have reached 197 nations and territories. 13 million human rights booklets have been distributed. 80,000 educators have been but the real measure is what happens next. A child recognizes discrimination and speaks up. A teacher stops bullying from being dismissed as just teasing. Each brings different experiences. But every panel should lead to the same question, and every speaker should lead to the same question. What will I do with this when I go home? I ask each delegate to leave with one concrete commitment. Choose one school, one organization, or one body of individuals. Then take what you've learned here and teach someone else to carry it forward. The Universal Declaration has already shown us the way. Our task now is to make sure its principles are known, understood, and applied by generations to come. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Let's give Emma another round of applause. A real treat to get to work with her. I'm sure many of you have been on the other side of many an email from Emma, so such a treat to be led by such a wonderful woman. Next up, we have another
I mean, like, seriously, it's so boring. I don't know how they could put us through this, like, every single day. How many schools do you have in your village?
but that is one of my favorites. All right, it's my honor to introduce to the stage a very, very special youth delegate from St. Kitts and Nevis. You might have recalled that incredible speech that we had by Madam Ambassador of St. Kitts.
Cultures, but beneath that beauty lies a deeper story, a story of resilience. Our ancestors endured slavery, colonialism, natural disasters, and economic hardship, yet they never surrendered their belief in human dignity, freedom, and justice. That history has taught my generation an important lesson. Peace is not something we inherit. Peace is something we choose, and it is something that we build. This year's theme, Education for Peace, a 25-year legacy, reminds us that lasting peace begins long before conflicts arise. It begins in our classrooms, in our homes, in our communities, and in the values that we pass from one generation to the next. More than 75 years ago, the nations of the world adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, affirming that all people are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Shortly before that, the Charter of the United Nations began with three powerful words: we the peoples. These words continue to inspire me. They remind us that the United Nations is not only about governments or diplomacy, it is about people. It is about a shared responsibility to build a world where every child can learn, every voice can be heard, and every person can live in peace and dignity. Yet today, that promise remains unfinished. Across our world, millions of young people continue to face conflict, discrimination, poverty, misinformation, and the growing effects of climate change. As someone from the Caribbean, I know these challenges very well. Small island developing states contribute the least to global emissions, yet we are among the first to experience stronger hurricanes, rising sea levels, and threats to our livelihoods. Climate justice is, therefore, a human rights issue. The right to education, to health, to security, and to sustainable development cannot exist without a healthy planet. That is why education has never been more important. The 2024 UNESCO recommendation on education for peace, human rights, and sustainable development reminds us that education must do more than prepare us for employment. It must prepare us to become responsible global citizens, people who think critically, respect diversity, resolve conflicts peacefully, and protect both human dignity and our planet. In other words, education must teach us not only how to make a living, but how to live together. As young people, we are often described as the leaders of tomorrow. I respectfully believe we are also leaders today and right now. Every time we reject prejudice, defend someone's dignity, volunteer in our communities, or use our voices to stand against injustice, we are already reshaping the future. Diplomacy is not reserved for conference rooms in New York or Geneva. Diplomacy begins wherever people choose dialogue instead of division. It begins in our schools, online, our neighborhoods. It begins with us. As a young Caribbean citizen, I believe our region has an important contribution to make. CARICOM has long demonstrated that cooperation among nations, large and small, is possible. Our diversity has never prevented us from working together. It has strengthened us. The Caribbean teaches the world that unity is not built by erasing differences, but by respecting them. That is a lesson our world needs today. My generation has inherited extraordinary technology and unprecedented opportunities, but we have also inherited profound global challenges. The question before us is not whether we will shape the future. The question is how. Will we allow fear to divide us, or will we allow education to unite us? Will we spread misinformation, or will we spread understanding? Will we remain silent in the face of injustice, or will we become courageous advocates for human rights and peace? I believe our answer must be hope. Not hope as wishful thinking, but hope expressed through action. Hope that educates, includes, listens, serves. As we gather at this International Human Rights Summit, let us renew the promise first envisioned in the United Nations Charter and reaffirmed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that every human being possesses inherent dignity and equal rights. Let us commit ourselves to making education the foundation of peace, human rights the language of our generation, and dialogue the bridge between our differences. If we do that, then the legacy we leave will not simply be measured by the speeches we delivered or the resolutions we adopted. It will be measured by the lives we transformed, the peace we strengthened, and the future we built together. Because peace is not merely our aspiration. Peace must become our generation's contribution to humanity. Thank you, and may we continue working together as one human family to uphold the enduring ideals of the United Nations and build a more peaceful, just, and hopeful world for all. Thank you.
Wow. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I am very inspired by, honestly, the quality and caliber of people in this room. It's a real treat to get to share the space with all of you today. So thank you, and claps for yourselves for being here. Okay, and we have really a special treat lined up for you now. A true artist, a true visionary, an inspirer of many generations. It is a pleasure for me to get to welcome Trish Duggan, founder of the Imagine Museum, to the stage.
Well, good afternoon, dear friends. Standing here today during the 25th International Summit as we celebrate 25 years of Youth for Human Rights fills my heart with gratitude, hope, and a deep sense of responsibility. I was humbled to be honored with the Human Rights Award, and I accept it with profound gratitude. Before anything else, though, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Mary Shuttleworth. Mary is a fellow dreamer, but more than that, she has shown the world that education is one of the greatest acts of love. Some people create works of art with paint or stone. Mary's art is education. For 25 years, she has patiently planted seeds of understanding, dignity, and peace in the hearts of millions of young people all around the world. Thank you, Mary, for reminding us that when we educate a child about human rights, we do far more than share information. We help shape the future of humanity. Today, I would like to begin by telling you something that may surprise you. I actually don't believe that all heroes are people who stand on stages. I believe many heroes are ordinary people who make extraordinary choices. People who choose compassion over indifference, truth over convenience, lies, and corruption. They choose courage over comfort and hope over despair. Those are the people who quietly change the world. For much of my life, I have worked with glass as an artist. Glass has fascinated me because it teaches a beautiful lesson. It begins as ordinary sand, and it's transformed by fire or extreme heat. It is shaped with patience and creativity. And only then, when it is cooled, does it reveal its beauty when light passes through it. Our lives are much the same. None of us are born finished. We are shaped by the challenges we face, by the choices we make, and by the values we decide to live by. Civilization itself is like a work of art. Beautiful, fragile, precious, and it depends entirely on how we choose to shape it. It too is all about the choices we make. That belief has guided much of my own journey. For many years, I've tried to use art not only to create beauty, but to awaken conscience. At our Imagine Museum, we created a permanent glass wall of human rights. Visitor that human rights are not ideas to admire from a distance, but principles to live by every single day. Each person who visits is invited to take a special edition of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a small gift carrying a timeless message. Because art can open hearts and education can change lives. It was one of the greatest honors of my life to be invited by the Permanent Mission of Costa Rica to the United Nations to exhibit my artwork here at the United Nations headquarters in New York in celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But the exhibition itself was never the destination. The destination has always been people. That same purpose has taken me to Costa Rica, Mexico, Argentina, Japan, France, and many other countries, working alongside Youth for Human Rights to inspire young people through human rights education. Because every child we reach today helps create a better tomorrow. That is why I believe so deeply in human rights education. Because before we can change laws, we must change hearts and minds. Before we can transform nations, we must inspire people. And before, thank you. And before we can create peace in the world, we must first create peace within ourselves. One of the greatest privileges of my life has been being a mother. Years ago, our family experienced the heartbreaking loss of our young son. Before he left us, he shared a wish that would forever change our lives. He wanted us to open our hearts to children who needed a family. We carried that wish with us, and I began working with foster care programs when I was 50 years old. Today, I am blessed to be the mother of 6 adopted children. Thank you. People sometimes ask me, which are my biological children and which are my adopted children? And the answer is simple. They are all my children. Love does not divide. Love does not keep score. Love simply embraces. Through them, I have learned one of life's greatest truths. Every child longs for the same things, no matter where on the planet they're born, no matter what the circumstances. Children want to be loved, they want to be safe, to be seen, and to know they matter. Isn't that, after all, what human rights are about? Recognizing the infinite worth of every human being, not because of where you were born, not because of the language you speak, not because of the color of your skin, not because of your religion, not because of their success, simply because they are human. That single idea changed history, and it can change our future as well. I've long admired Eleanor Roosevelt, and she understood something that remains just as true today as it was when she helped to write the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Human rights do not begin in courtrooms. They do not begin in governments. They begin in the way we treat one another, in our homes, in our schools, in our neighborhoods, in the countless small decisions we make every single day. That is why the work of Youth for Human Rights is so important. For decades, I have had the privilege of witnessing this movement grow across continents. I have also witnessed something extraordinary. Because of the generosity of people who believe in this mission, Youth for Human Rights has been able to provide its educational materials to more than 190 nations in 17 languages, completely free of charge. Isn't that amazing? That is not simply an organizational achievement. It is an act of faith in humanity. Every booklet placed into the hands of a young person, every educator who discovers these materials, every conversation they inspire is another seed planted for peace. Education plants seeds, not seeds of fear, but seeds of understanding, not seeds of division, but seeds of respect, not seeds of hatred, but seeds of peace. The first human right with the Universal 30 universal human rights is all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. The definition of dignity is the quality of being worthy of honor and respect. We know we are not all born equal. We each have different goals, different likes and dislikes, different intelligence, different abilities, different backgrounds. But when young people learn that every person possesses dignity, they begin to see the world differently. And when enough young people begin seeing the world differently, the world itself begins to change. Today, I have the privilege of standing before young delegates representing nearly 80 countries. Some of you will become teachers, some scientists, some entrepreneurs, some artists, some judges, some diplomats, some presidents, some parents. Whatever path you create for yourself going forward, never forget that the greatest title you will ever hold is simply this: human. The future of humanity will not be determined only by technology or by economics or by politics. It will be determined by character, by integrity, by compassion, by whether ordinary people choose to protect the dignity of others. Human rights are not defended only in courtrooms or parliaments. They are defended every single day by ordinary people making extraordinary choices. By the student who refuses to bully, by the teacher who chooses to inspire, by the police officer who acts with integrity, by the journalist who tells the truth, by the artist who awakens our conscience and inspires our tolerance and compassion, by the parent who teaches kindness, by the young person who refuses to remain silent when another human being is treated unjustly. Those quiet choices, made millions of times, are what shape civilizations. The world does not need more spectators. It needs builders. Builders of trust, builders of compassion and tolerance, builders of justice, builders of peace. Thank you. Each one of you has the ability to become one of these builders. Never underestimate the power of one courageous decision. History reminds us that every great movement, every great idea, every great transformation began with one person. This person decided that the world could be better than it was. Perhaps one person cannot change the entire world, but everything that has ever changed the world has always begun with one person. Tonight, I ask you to be that person. Choose courage, choose kindness, choose responsibility, choose hope. Choose to defend the dignity of every human being you meet. And if enough of us make those choices day after day, generation after generation, then together we will create something as beautiful as any work of art. A civilization where every child grows up knowing that freedom, dignity, and human rights belongs to them. May that be the masterpiece we create together. Thank you.
I told you guys you were in for a treat. Let's give her a hand again. Thank you, Trish. Wow, what an opening ceremony. Wouldn't you agree? It was a pretty awesome morning, right? Great. Well, I think we can see, there's been a variety of themes touched on today, a variety of people taking action and taking action on the things that they hold close. But I think what we can see and is really resonant is that everything is united really under one purpose: education for peace. Everything that everyone is doing in your own ways is all under this one theme of education for peace. So when you talk to someone today, recognize you're united under the same purpose. You might be going about your own passions or your own interests, but we're all working together under one united purpose. So I think that's really beautiful. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. Okay, so now I actually need some help from you guys. Are you guys able to help me out with something? Yes? Okay, awesome. We are going to do a special little group exercise to help you commemorate this incredible event. So I'm going to ask everyone to stay seated, except for our VIPs right here, Dr. Shuttleworth's VIPs in the front row. I'll have the front row stand up, and you're gonna go head all the way to the back. Everyone else, you'll stay seated. Okay, good? Awesome. Thank you for that. And the sooner I help you get through this, the sooner we get to enjoy some yummy lunch at the UN cafes. All right. Great. Great. And you guys can also. Okay, and if you're not in this first row, again, thank you for doing your part and staying seated. Yes. All right, you ready? Okay, guys, and with that, I get to turn it over to our wonderful photographer here, and he is going to help us orchestrate a group photo so that we can all commemorate this amazing opportunity today that you guys will be able to share on social. So make sure that you pay close attention so that we can get the best photos. Is everyone good with that? We ready for that? All right.
All right. Okay, hi guys. Okay, so can everybody hear me? Yeah? Okay, good. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to have, so John, hey John, can I have you wave your hand for a sec? See that guy waving his hand? That's John. He's a photographer up there. He's going to be taking the photo of all you guys, okay? Good. So now what I'm going to have you guys do is everyone's going to stand up. Yeah, everybody stand up. But stay where you are, though. Stay where you are. Very important. Stay where you are. Good. Okay, good. Now, everyone face the back of the room. Everyone look towards John. That guy waving his arm. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do is when I say action, you guys are all going to wave, okay? So everybody on this side of the room over here, you guys are all going to wave with your left hand, okay? So the left side of the room, I guess. And then everybody over here, you guys are all going to wave with your right hand, okay? Make sense? Fantastic. Yeah, good point. So for your guys' perspective, the left side of the room, left hand. Right side of the room, right hand, okay? Good. Now, very important is I see everyone's face on this one, so everyone's got to be smiling, okay? Awesome. The good news is you guys all look absolutely stunning. Every single one of you looks very sharp and gorgeous, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, so John, we should now... You're all going to kind of move this way. Yes. Okay, good. And then I'm going to have you guys all. You're going to go that way. You're waving me from that. And you're all going to move this way. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You keep going like this. I'd like to have you You're gonna look that way. I think I'm gonna have. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
What happened?
Grab someone. Put them over here.
Guys, as you can see, our shoot team is still working some magic. So thank you for staying in your spots. We appreciate it.
Okay, good. Let's do this. Okay. So I will need to have this. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, sir. So. In the bags. Listen up. Oh, wow, there we go. Okay, guys, here we go. We're ready to do the shot. Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, so everybody lift your arms up, except for you guys. You guys keep them there, okay? Hold your arms up. Let me see them. Very nice, guys. And then can I have you put your bag down? Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. Good. Good. Okay, great. So, and you can actually keep your arm down. You'll be waving like this. So everybody here, right here, you guys are going to be waving like this, okay? Just like that. Yeah. Everybody else here in the house, you guys are waving a lot with your arms like that, okay? Beautiful. Yeah. Wow, that looks fantastic. Okay, good. Okay, and then big smiles. You guys ready? Good. Okay, so when I say action, you guys are all going to be waving, and you keep going until I say cuts, okay? Good. Now, very important. We want to have lots of cheering, okay? Yes, that's right, because we're going to record some audio. We want to hear you guys cheering, okay? Sound good? Yes. You right there, that man. You got it. Okay. All right. Roll it. Okay, action! Keep going! Keep going, guys! Keep going! Keep going! Let me know. Let me know. And cuts. Good. Okay, everybody stay right there, okay? Nobody get any funny ideas. Beautiful. Good. Okay, good. Good. Yes. Okay, so 1 second, guys. Nobody move yet. So one last shot here, okay? Last shot.
Can everyone hear Sam in the back?
Yeah.
Can everyone
Everybody hear
hear
me?
the photographer in the back?
Okay,
Sam,
good.
that way.
Beautiful. Thank you guys. You guys are great. Okay, good. So, so just so everybody knows, we are going to be getting this photo to each and every one of you, okay? This photo with all of you guys, you're all going to have this shot. Yeah, it's for you guys. This is for you. We're celebrating you guys. So, good. Last shot here. We're going to do a video shot with every single one of you, and you just keep cheering till I say cut, okay? Sound
Okay,
good?
guys, video
Okay.
shot with everyone. Here we go.
All right. Okay, so this is a video shot. Okay. So I'm going to say action. Then you guys are going to wave. You're going to wave for like 15 seconds. It's like super awkwardly long time, okay? Yeah, but just keep going, okay? Here we go.
All right, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to enjoy a great lunch break. I'll see you back here at 2:55. We'll start at 3. See you soon. If you are a youth delegate, you can head to Vienna Cafe. Youth delegates.
you.